Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this sixth annual general meeting of the company. The accounts are already with you, together with the report of the directors. Before I go into details of the company's activities, I would briefly outline the history of the company, if only to highlight the special progress by the company since we met last at the fifth annual general meeting. The name of the company has been changed to include electronics. The scope in electronics is vast and wide. India has hitherto been trailing behind in developing the electronics industry, but is now emerging actively to catch up with developments the world over. Great emphasis is being placed in developing telecommunication and other professional and consumer electronics items, electronics equipment, instrumentation and controls, and in securing self-sufficiency in the basic components that go into the manufacture of these items. In view of the fact of the rapidly developing electronic equipment industry, the demand for basic components in the internal market is growing and a potential for export is also emerging. Your company has therefore chosen for the present to go in for basic components and in this field to manufacture resistors and capacitors. Your company has already made a major way in taking up the manufacture of carbon film resistors. The building at Rajaji Nagar has been completed and the machinery for the manufacture of the 100 million carbon film resistors has already been received from Japan. The plant envisages manufacture of 60 million resistors during the first year of operation itself. Your company has been fortunate to enter into collaboration for the manufacture of polyester capacitors at Hauser with Messrs. Italy, world renowned in the field of capacitor manufacturing activities with provision for buyback also. The machinery that will be installed will be the most modern, thus giving your company an opportunity to enjoy the economics of large-scale operations. Even more important, the quality of the output will be such that it would compare with world standards and be capable of competing in the international field. Your company has also obtained the services at senior management level of experienced and competent professionals whose capability has been organized in the industry and under whose guidance, therefore, the output and efficiency of operations would be confidently assured. Your company has also gone into the field of power sources and taken up the manufacture of water activated batteries. These are magnesium specialized batteries used with weather balloons that are sent up by the meteorological department almost daily in different parts of the country. They were hitherto not being manufactured in the country. Indigenous know-how has since been perfected and samples accepted by the Indian Meteorological Department. Your company has obtained exclusive rights to manufacture these batteries based on this indigenous know-how. In addition to the above, your company, in order to penetrate further in the direction of the manufacture of basic electronic components, has secured further collaboration with Messrs. Italy for the manufacture of two more items: plastic film capacitors and AC type capacitors. For the manufacture of these two items, your company intends to avail the Italian suppliers credit for a sum of about 60 million US dollars. It is estimated that the cost of the plant, machinery, buildings, etc. for these two items would be of the order of 9 crores, and it is proposed to finance this project in the shape of equity and borrowing, and for the equity we will be coming to you sometime early in 1982. The projects are expected to go into production in 1983. I would also like to thank the members of the staff at various levels who have consistently tried to give their best so that the implementation of the projects would be within the shortest time. I would also like to thank in particular the State Bank of India, the Tamil Nadu Industrial Investment Corporation Limited, and the State Industries Promotion Corporation of Tamil Nadu Limited for extending to us their kind and unstinted cooperation for the years to come. Sir, the 77-day-old strike in the public sector undertaking has been called off by the Joint Action Front. Workers have amply demonstrated their determination to fight for their rights and in the process have created history. Before going into the merits of the case, the leaders of the opposition parties and the chief minister should be congratulated for having prevailed upon the leaders to call off the strike. The question to be answered by the parties concerned is, were they right in embarking on a strike at a time when the national economy is in such bad shape? Strike has resulted in two things, namely incalculable sufferings and loss of income to workers, and a huge loss to the nation by way of loss of production. It is unfortunate that the leaders have not chosen to take these considerations before egging on the workers to go on an indefinite strike. The conclusion is that the remedy proved to be worse than the disease. It is no doubt true that a portion of the nation's income that is lost would have been sufficient to meet the demands of the workers. Probably the government opted not to yield because it may prove as a precedent in all public sector undertakings. Calling off the strike by the workers should not be construed by the government as an act of helplessness, but it should readily meet the legitimate demands of the workers in the interest of industrial peace. Some of the leaders have said that the strike is off, but the struggle will continue. This, I am afraid, is again trying to ill serve the interest of the workers. Both sides should approach the problem in a spirit of conciliation, keeping the national interest in view.